welcome to the 293 Code Podcast. Today's episode is regret.
Let's get right into it.
Let's get in it.
Charity, what are some of the things that you have regret on?
Let me see.
You thinking long or hard over there.
My regret is just putting me first. I didn't put myself first.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I can relate to that one too. Not putting myself first. And also not taking the advantage of people who came into my life and valued them to the highest level. Because you know what? Time is not always on our side, or we always assuming that that person is going to be there.
Absolutely.
And then also, you know what I'm saying? With me, I have regrets of not being able to be myself as a person. Growing up, I was judged a lot, you know what I'm saying, on who everybody thought I was as far as like, you know, that athlete. And, you know, when you get portrayed to be somebody else's like role model and then everybody else carried and spread it. But, you know, I regret not being able to just come forward and be like, look, I have mental health issues. Right. This is what I'm struggling with. And yet, you know, in life, it took a while before I got properly diagnosed with all my diagnoses. But at the same time, like, I was too scared to be vocal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you think that they would like turn their back against you or what? Well,
yeah, because I mean, you think about it back then in our era or whatever, mental health wasn't really a huge, it wasn't talked about. Okay. It was swept up under the rug. People would just tell you, oh, you need to just be in an institution or a hospital, whatever like that. People looked at you as you was crazy. Right, and, you know, being called crazy is a stigma that, you know what I'm saying, we still trying to stem away from. But the thing of it is that I was so stubborn in my own trying to protect me that I didn't value myself enough to be able to stand up for myself. You know what I'm saying? And I regret not being able to live life. And you may ask like, well, how you regret not being able to live life? Because I didn't understand what living was. I regret not being able to be open enough to be able to be in relationships and take it for what it was and what people was trying to give me back. Because hell, at that time, I was still trying to protect myself.
Right.
You know, when you're trying to live and survive and understanding how to live. But I regret it because of the simple fact, you know, being an adult now, and I go way back to my childhood. As a kid, I never learned how to be a kid. I never learned how to just go through life carefree and be like, you know what? There's consequences. Okay. You know, you get grounded or, you know, punishment and all that stuff. I didn't really understand all that stuff in the moment because I was too busy trying to be a perfect kid. I was too busy trying to learn how to survive. So I regretted it a lot because, and also I didn't like being around people. But then I didn't like being around people. Okay. Because the thing of it is, when I had to be around people, it was forced. But if I had to choose to be around people, it was like I'd rather be by myself. Right. Because in my mindset, nobody's going to know me better than I know myself.
So pretty much you were just closed up. Like
I was definitely closed up. But I regret not being able to take those chances at an early age to be able to test myself, to be more open, to be around people. And let people love me the way I should have been loved. But, you know, when somebody telling you those type of things, you be like, well, shit, if I don't love myself, how the hell are you supposed to love me?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like nothing really made sense. The math wasn't mathing. But you know what? Getting now into the age of really trying to know myself and really trying to get on a regimen where it's like, you know what? This is what works for me in a healthy way. It's not me trying to make sure it works for everybody else.
Right.
I'm starting to live a little bit. So when you starting to do those things, it's a lot of regret that comes up because you know what, man,
especially at an older age.
Exactly. Y'all, I'm not that old.
Yeah, we're not that old.
Like, dang. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you get it. You see what I'm saying? It makes you like really sit down with yourself and think about like all the opportunities that has passed you by.
No, it really does. It really does.
Even the people in your life, not everybody was good, but what I'm saying, even the people that came through and in and out of your life, it makes you think about like, man, no matter who coming in and out of your life, there is always something that you can take from that person. You know what I'm saying? To help you move farther so that you don't feel stuck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it goes with a lot of regret as you learning how to grow, because you just think about like, man, if I would have just been this way 10, 15 years earlier, you know, I'll be a better person.
True.
And not better in a way as like, good. But what I'm saying is like better in my head mentally and not so stressed out.
Right.
Because see, I used to fight so hard for people to try to understand like, hey, the struggle in the way, because you know what, being that advocate to where it's just like, as long as everybody around me is good, it's okay for me to hurt. And so when people telling me like, no, you have the opportunity, you have the right to want to live and be happy. And I'm sitting here in the back of my mind looking like that shit never going to happen.
No.
My home is my prison.
You're right.
I have to face all these demons and I have to fight with myself to want to get up and put on clothes and go from A, B, C to D that people miscalculate because I'm able to go out and do those things some of the times that I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Don't you think we really start thinking about our regrets? Because we really don't think about it when we're in the moment of a good moment.
Right.
But when shit starts to go awry, we really start thinking, damn, I have regrets. I try not to have too many. And let me tell you why.
Why?
Why?
I want to know.
It's because I would have never learned or even worked on my mental. I'm going to be honest with you. Right. If I didn't go through some of this shit.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you.
But
just like...
But do you feel that like some of the shit that you went through in life or whatever, you wish you would have never went through it though? And it could have been like brought to you in a different way? Or do you feel like you needed it to be that way in order for you to understand and take something from it?
I wish it would have been a little bit different as far as like my grandmother working on her mental and her health. Well, she was healthy, but her mental health. Then it probably it wouldn't have been so many scars that she had to deal with, which is passed down because she raised her grandchildren.
Right.
Pretty much. And so we got a lot of that trauma from what she dealt with. I mean, my grandmother was out of the house. She was on her own and having kids by the age of 12.
So she was in survivor mode the whole time.
She's always been in survivor mode.
She didn't know anything different.
I mean, from race down, I mean, she's always had to fight. So she didn't know any different. But I think if we would have had a little more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Time.
She had time.
I'm saying if you would have had
emotional
bonding,
yes.
But what I meant by time is that if your grandma would have had a little bit more time, and then if you would have started your healing process a little earlier, then y'all would have had that time to be able to have that conversation. And I understand that because you know what, I feel the same way. Like I never forget, I was in therapy, and it was more like I had been in therapy maybe about 2 years, 3 years, beginning of it. And, I was working on trying to really be able to have a conversation with my dad because we didn't have that father-daughter relationship. Damn. He had more of that with my siblings, but me and him, we just kind of didn't argue or anything like that because I didn't talk to him like that.
Damn.
I always communicated through my mom. But like, as I got older and, it didn't really affect me until I got that phone call that day and was like, oh, he passed away. And it was just out the blue, unexpected. You know what I'm saying? He just literally dropped dead on his way going to work.
Right. And
so when I got the phone call, I was just cold. I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to feel or anything. And I didn't think it was going to bother me. You know what I'm saying? When I flew home, went to my dad's funeral and everything, and I was still shut off. But it wasn't until later on, until I got back to Washington and everything and, trying to just act like ain't nothing happened, that it dawned on me that I had a lot of regret. Because what I was doing in therapy was working on myself to be able to confront my dad and let him know how I felt from the inner child. You know what I'm saying? Because we never talked. We never had that bond. Right. Like we talked to each other as if we was two strangers meeting in a grocery store. Really? That's how our relationship was. Yeah. I was very distant from my dad. And I regret not being able to have that voice back then, to be able to get it all out, because I thought like a part of me in my head was going to make me feel better. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how it was really going to make me feel. But I just know like that was a huge regret, because I'm just like, damn, well, time is never on your side. So then I thought like, well, maybe I won't feel anything. I'll be okay or whatever. But all that I kept hidden inside added more pressure to me and made me more angry. Because now that opportunity where that window was open for me to talk, and I'm still taking my time working on myself, boom, it's gone.
Damn.
You know? So, you know, I walked around angry because I'm just like, well, damn, ain't no need of me writing a letter. He can't hear it. He can't read it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't going to help me. You know what I'm saying? And so like, there was an opportunity which is kind of like, I didn't take advantage of.
Right.
I wasn't strong enough. I felt like I was too weak-minded to be able to go out and express myself, but I was still learning how to work on myself emotionally, because I didn't know how to do that. I was still stuck in the inner child.
Damn. Okay. All right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm an adult child, because that's what we call each other in ACA. We are adult children who are traumatized from parents. So you stuck in that inner child of yourself. And especially, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I go to ACA, it's adult children of alcoholism.
Okay.
My dad was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
You know, functioning alcoholic, but you know, that really brought up a lot of triggers for me. You know what I'm saying? Mood swings, modes, everything, you know? So like, I had to carry that on my shoulders for a while. Cause you know, I was just like, well, damn, I'm a punk. I had the opportunity and it just got wasted.
So do you still think about that to this day though?
Not as much, because it got substituted. It got substituted because then, bam, my best friend that I considered my brother passed away. And I'm just on the other side of the door.
Damn. Okay.
So the hardest thing for me that I still struggle with to this day, and I feel hella guilty about, is because I couldn't save him.
And you talking about your
because 3 days before Zoe passed away, I was just like, hey, bro, you don't look good. Let's go to the hospital. You know, and it was just like, I'm like, nah, bro, you don't look good. Like, I'll take you to the hospital, because I was really worried. So we go to the hospital. We're there all night. And, you know, they was like, hey, take this medication, you know, do a follow up with your doctor. You know what I'm saying? And we had told them, was like, hey, well, the follow up with the doctor, you already got a regular appointment. It's not till the end of November. You know what I'm saying? That's as soon as they can get him in. You know, and the hospital just seemed so nonchalant. Man. And, you know, he's still like struggling. He was like, man, my eyesight is bad. I was like, hey, you can borrow a pair of my glasses. You know what I'm saying? I'm still worried about him. And I always made sure that I was up when he got home. That was like my thing. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you get home. Yo, I'll go to bed. You go to bed or whatever like that. I'll see you in the morning. Right. You know, because we had already planned a trip, because Zoe was only working till Wednesday, because Thursday, we was going to head out to go to Canada for a full week. We was going to take a road trip to Canada, me, him, and Frankie. We had it all planned out. So he only had, you know, till Wednesday. It was good. Tuesday come around, it's like, boom. I wasn't up. I was up beforehand, but something told me to stay up, and I didn't. I didn't trust my gut. And I was just like, I fell asleep. Because if I would have seen him that night, I know he would have told me like, oh, I ain't feeling good or something like that's going on. Because I would have been like, hey, we just need to go back to the hospital. Right. You know, I would have been adamant about it, you know. Right. Wednesday morning come along, I wake up and I was just like, something ain't right, you know. And long story short, I went and I knocked at his door, and it was just like, I'm just calling his name and he ain't answering the door. You know, they doing construction across the street, and I was just like, something ain't right. And so, you know, I called Marissa and I was just like, hey, something ain't right with Zoe. I'm just like, she was like, you know, open the door. And I was just like, man. She was like, you sure? She was like, maybe he going to work. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, I would have heard the front door shut, because it always kind of like shake my room. And I looked and I seen his keys on the wall, and I was just like, man, something ain't right. Like, I knew it was wrong. And, you know, when I opened that door and, you know, and I found him, and it just like crushed me, because I'm just like, fuck, you know, I could have saved you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the hardest pill I had to swallow. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no comfort in the world for that. Like, I put all that weight on my shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just like with that regret, because like I'm still working on that piece in therapy today, because I'm just like, man, like Zoe was my boy. Zoe had my back. I had his back. You know what I'm saying? To the fullest. And I'm just like, I was so fucking selfish enough to want to go to sleep because I was tired.
Damn. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a tough pill to swallow when everybody trying to, like, you know, tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, you know, it was like mentally, I took on that responsibility of like, you know, I get fixated on stuff. That's the OCD part. You know what I'm saying? And I'm there with him, you know, and I call 911 and everything. And I'm just staring at him. And he's staring back at me. And I'm just kind of like, the hardest thing I had to do was call his mom.
Damn. Okay.
You know? And when I heard her voice through the phone, you know, she was so happy, like, hey, Bonnie. And I'm like, hey, and I'm just like, I have to tell you something. I've never had to do that. You know what I'm saying? But to tell a parent that their child is gone is the hardest thing in the world. And I had to do it.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Hard.
And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Zoe and I'm just like, dude, I failed you. You know? Because if I would have been up, I would have been able to have that sense of like, yo, you don't look good. Like, let's go. We're going back. You know what I'm saying? And I know he would have been like, okay, we're going to go back. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, that's just how we was with each other, you know? And it just kind of like, that really crushed me. It crushed me hella bad. And that's when I actually went down to Denton, Texas. When I was in the institution in Texas.
What? Wait, you went there twice?
No, once. But I went there after Zoe passing. Not right away, but I went there a couple months. Where did
you go when we were at the alma mater? Remember we had the office at alma mater?
I didn't go nowhere.
Yeah, you went to Texas because it was like prison.
Yeah, but that was around that time. No, I'm saying I didn't go straight after, but I went after Zoe passing.
Oh, yeah, okay. Because I was like, what?
Yeah, it was after Zoe passing because I couldn't deal with it.
Right, okay. Because
I was carrying around that guilt.
Okay.
That I slept on my own. I slept on my couch for a month before I couldn't even go to my own bedroom.
I would have done that.
That's how bad it was. Like it was just so bad where I didn't even want to go to the bathroom because our bathroom was in between both rooms.
I remember.
You know what I'm saying? So we're just kind of like having to deal with that and not knowing how to. And I'm just like, dude, I've never had to experience anything like that before. And so when everybody was coming over that day and, you know, trying to make sure I was okay or whatever, I couldn't hear anything. Because I was just sitting there thinking like, man, you know, I'm trying to rewind back the whole entire day to fix it. And I just kept going back to like, man, fuck, if I would have just been up. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the scenario would have been a little bit different.
Damn.
You know? And so I have regret, you know, like it's still taking me a hard time to not blame myself for, you know, just being able to just be there and just be like, man, I know if I would have saw you, I would have picked up on it. I would have been like, look, let's go. You know what I'm saying? But I fell asleep. And I normally don't sleep because I'm like a night pacer, you know, back then, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't sleeping and stuff like that. But that night I was tired. It took me out and I just woke up and I was just kind of like, something's wrong. Yeah. You know, and so like carrying that type of regret is hard.
Yeah, that would be hard for me too.
You know, it's hard. It's hella hard. And you know, like you said, when you get older in life, there's a lot of things that we regret. And so it's just like, I never knew how to gravitate towards people to let them in to be able to like want to help.
Yeah.
See, to me, that's weird in a way because it's like it's hard to trust. Because you never know people's intentions. You
don't know people's true intentions, you know.
Right.
People always, I feel like sometimes when you meet the wrong people and they're in your life and you let them occupy your space like that, and then a lot of shit happens, I feel like there's regret from that.
Right.
And like you said, people's true intentions. What are their true intentions?
Because my thing is, like, with me and Zoe, everybody knew this. Me and Zoe was always together. You know what I'm saying? We was always
two
together.
Pete's in the pot.
And, you know, we always did stuff together. You know what I'm saying? Longboarding, whatever anybody else didn't want to do, we would do it. You know what I'm saying? Just to see. Because, you know, we used to always talk about having our own reality show. Because, you know, we would do some crazy stuff. But, you know what I'm saying?
You are absolutely right. I remember when we went hiking. And we went on the first hike. It was fun. And then we went on the second hike. I was thinking, we went on that second hike. And I was like thinking, oh, so she think I'm you.
You know, that's what we like to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was times where, like, literally, Zoe would have, like, Friday, Saturday off.
Yeah.
And, like, Zoe would wake up Friday morning and be like, hey, we should go do something today. So, like, Fridays was always, like, our day. We would get up and, like, I would have, like, psychiatrist appointments once a month. And they would be in Bellevue. So, Zoe would just like, you know what? Zoe would take me to my appointment because, you know, back then, with me driving, you know, having agoraphobia, the freeway, it makes me sweat a lot. I have anxiety. And so, like, I wouldn't drive for a period of time. So, I get really, really nervous and scared because I'm like trying to focus. Now that has gotten better. So now I'm more like zoom. But I mean, over time, that took me years to, like, you know, really tone out my agoraphobia, though. And people didn't understand. I'm like, man, you driving slow on the freeway. Hey, y'all don't see what I see. You know what I'm saying?
It'd be 65. And this fool going 25.
You know, people didn't understand it. I mean, y'all, it was really so bad to where, like, my friends would be like, nah, we'll drive. Don't even worry about it. I'll come and pick you up. Because by the time you get to us, so I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was really that bad. But you know what? When you tell people, like, you know, I'm thinking like, hey, I'm driving fast, but my friends knew I'm driving slow. Like, I never really got mad about it because, I mean, like, hell, it was true. But it was all those fears and trying to, like, not space out while I drive. And then when I had people riding with me, that was also more pressure because I'm just like, man, I don't want to kill nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't want to wreck. So, like, I feel like that was more responsibility on my shoulders.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just having all those things. But like I said, you know, regret and not being able to just be open and letting people know, hey, this is what I got. This is what it is. But it don't make me. But at the same time, I have to go slow to my own process in order to get better. And you know what? It took me some years because just like with the car I got now, it took me almost a full year to adapt to driving that car without having fear.
Yeah.
Every time I get it took me that long. Now I can get on the freeway and be like, okay, no worry. But before then, you know, I wouldn't do that.
I would worry.
I would be so stressed out trying to get on the freeway that I'd be like, oh, I'll drive. But look, we taking the back roads. Because, you know, I was a one road challenger, but, you know, on the freeway, it was too many obstacles for me to concentrate. Mm-hmm. But, you know, now, I mean, like, I'm doing the freeway thing.
Yeah, you're doing better. Because I remember it took you like a while to get to my house.
It did. You know, now I'm just like zoom.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, it's like 4 hours. Where you at?
Marissa would always be like, I'll drive. And I'm like, I got it. But she would just like, let me pack a lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it'd be inside joke. You know, everybody else would be the same way. But it was just like Zoe always like, Zoe loved to drive. That was his thing. Mm-hmm. Zoe loved driving. But I mean, like, I never really would take it to heart because but you know, they knew my fears of driving and most people didn't understand that. Like, why you drive so slow? Why you don't zoom in and out? Like, I still have to concentrate because I mean, like, I have to double take, especially like when I get over and stuff, because like sometimes I'll double see stuff before it happens. It's weird. I do. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of like if you second guessing yourself, but
you'll miss an exit.
I sure will.
Get over it. You got room. You're like, no, I see that car. And I'm like, that car like 50 miles back. You're like, get over. You're like, oh, we missed the exit.
Yeah. But you know what? I'll be like, you know what? We just get off on the SS and I'll turn around. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, I had to learn how to drive and feel safe and comfortable, you know? Mm-hmm. And like you said, it took me a year and a half to do that. And now I'm more comfortable to where like, hey, I'm going past the speed limit, but I still stay in the speed limit range though. But I'm more relaxed now. Before I wasn't relaxed at all. I would be terrified.
Damn.
Terrified. But I think regret has taught me a lot though. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is just like, you know what? I have to take what was brought to me, learn from it, grow, understand it is the most important thing is understanding why I feel the regret and then try to do things differently.
Right. I feel like regret has like an undertone of like fear, scared, anger, resentment. Like it has all those things, right? Because when we go through something traumatic, and that's why I said when things happen, when we're in a good place, we don't think about regret. Not one bit. We go to a bad space, we think about regret.
Mm-hmm.
It's because, we're frustrated, angry,
Yeah.
There's all these emotions that come up. And sometimes I think I'm more better about dealing with it, like with my emotions. But back then it's like, yeah, I probably had a lot of anger and regret.
Yeah, I know I did. I mean, I think that, but you know what though? Also, you think about, like, you had a good one, anger, regret, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think about regret when there are moments where I'm angry and I'm upset and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you already know, all my friends can validate this one, that I just be like, you know what, fucking, I'm done.
Yeah, that is.
I ain't thinking nothing through.
Mm-hmm.
You piss me off one good time, it's done.
Yeah.
I done packed up my whole apartment one time. I threw the whole apartment away.
You sure did. But you had regrets.
Yeah, I had regrets. You know what? Later on, I had regrets. And, because I actually did it, more than once, where I'm just like, you know what? If I need it, I'll just rebuy it.
You sure did.
Because I was just trying to push everything out the way. When I had to move out of my apartment after Zoe had passed away and I had to get rid of stuff or whatever, I literally put so much stuff on, just like, you know what? You want it, take it.
Yep.
But through that regret, what I learned was I was really grieving and in pain and didn't want to accept it because I was too busy being mad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was too busy being mad. That's why I say you have to understand your regret.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with a lot of anger, and anger is one of the easiest emotions to go towards when you don't want to deal with anything.
Sure, because with anger, it follows up with fear, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, first thing, like we were talking on one of our podcasts, I was like, always like, once I got to a certain age, I was always angry.
Yeah.
I was willing to fight people.
See, I wasn't willing to fight people. I was always angry and mad, but I know how to use my words with my mouth. So that was like my weapon. People they would just leave me the hell alone. I mean, because think about it. One key thing at like relationships.
Okay.
Relationships, marriages, friendships.
Uh-huh.
You put all three of those on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody say something to you that you don't like. Done. People want to work on it and you feel like you ain't getting nowhere and you keep just jumping around on the hula hoop. Jumping around on the jump rope. Done. You just throw it all away. But then you know what? It comes with regret because then you think over time like, damn, if I would have just set my ass down, stopped being stubborn, talked it out, talked it through, come to some kind of agreement, because it's okay to disagree with stuff, but get it to the point where we can trust each other. Damn, maybe we might still, have that relationship.
Yeah.
But when anger pop up and you haven't dealt with life experiences and you still holding on to what was done to you years back, you can't get past that. But then it's like months or years go on to where you start having regret because once you start realizing stuff that, you know what, maybe I need to look at myself in the mirror and change some of these things. Tell yourself, I don't have to be perfect. I only can go day by day. Life is not going to be hard. Life is not going to be easy. Challenge yourself to certain things and then see how it really turn out. Because I think what happens is sometimes we get irritated because other people challenge us so they can get what they want. And you got to ask yourself sometimes, is you challenging me because you say you care, or is you challenging me to get what you want?
So being very manipulative.
Right. But think about it though.
That ticks me off too when people are trying to be very manipulative. But
you think about it though, like family members do it all the time.
Oh yeah. That's probably why it ticks me off.
Friend, well, your real friends shouldn't do that. But you know what I'm saying? Like people you call friends, AKA associates, it happens.
Baby Door do it all the time.
It happens, you know what I'm saying? So it just kind of like, that's what I mean by like we all grow up with regrets. Because sometimes we act like, man, I could have handled that situation differently.
Mm. There's a strong regret that I do have, and that's the financials for me.
Right.
Like, I feel like I probably fucked around a lot of money. And not only that, I think I did it, tried to show off in front of the wrong people.
Right.
So I regret about that. A strong regret. Well, and I'm not saying it brings me happiness, but yeah, it creates stability.
Stability.
We know that's not a word.
Shout out to Brianna.
Shout out. But yeah. And I guess some relationship regrets.
I think everybody got relationship regrets.
We all got that.
Relationship regrets is what created high blood pressure. It did. I mean, y'all got to really think about it. I mean, for real, because you go through trials and tribulations in relationships, and it's like you're going to have your ups and downs, but like sometimes you just be, well, I know for me, I'll just be done.
You do. You get done so quick. I'm done. I'll
be like, nope, over it, done. Mm-hmm. But you know what I'm saying? But like now, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been doing my work and it ain't perfect. Help by any means, nowhere perfect. But at the same time, I see a lot of things now.
Yeah.
I see clear.
Yeah. So regret is that, everybody has regret.
Yeah.
Some have more than others, but we're all human beings and we regret something.
Yeah, we all do. And you know what? It's just kind of like, our parents used to tell us about stuff like that. Our grandparents, they would always tell us about like, do right by people. And you know what I'm saying? Always have good intentions. And you know what I'm saying? Like do things with an open heart, yada, yada, yada. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because what they was trying to teach us was like, you're going to have regret if you don't, so make sure you do everything with a clear conscience because you don't want to have to grow up with regret.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what they were trying to tell us.
But you're going to have regret regardless.
Yeah, you're going to have that regardless.
Especially like you're in college and you sleep with the wrong person.
Regret.
Well,
that come with baggage.
And that come with baggage.
Either they're going to end up stalking your ass or you get somebody pregnant or they come with an STD. Yeah. It's going to be something out of the three category. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be hooked, whatever, right?
Right.
But I mean, like, hell, college come with a lot of regrets, though.
It do come with a lot of regrets.
It did. I felt like when I was in college, I could apply myself more in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing of it is, was just like I was bored. I found the easiest way out. I did. I did a lot of what do they call it now? Where you don't go to class, but then like you have to have the teacher give you the assignments for the semester. You have to have it in by the end of the semester.
Online?
No. It wasn't called online. It was called. It'll come to me. I did a lot of my classes like that.
Did you?
Yeah, but it's a word for it. I can't think of it. If y'all know what the word I'm trying to talk about, it's not called free study. I don't forgot what it's called.
Remember, we're playing charades.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really apply myself and what I mean is like, when I first went to JUCO, right? Mm-hmm. I was just like, look, I'm here for basketball. Just get me a degree. You know what I'm saying? So I got my bachelor's degree in arts. Then I got scholarship to carry on into basketball. Then I went to USCS and I was just like, I didn't know what I wanted to major in because, I just wanted to do something with sports, but I needed an easy major because I knew I wasn't applying myself. So, some of my friends was taking criminal justice. So I was like, you know what? I signed up for criminal justice. Lord knows I didn't know that I had to do all this reading and shit and learning all the different the laws and all that stuff. Right. Mm-hmm. So then after I transferred from there, then I went to Southern Wesleyan University and then I was just like, man, what y'all got? The easiest shit. So they were just like, oh, we got physical education. We got park and recreation. I'm like, oh, what's park and recreation? So I did want to be a park ranger, but at the same time, I was looking for the easiest route out because, because of the main courses.
Right.
But I didn't care about school like that.
I think we all, I regret, Yeah, you're right.
Because I mean, you know, because I think about it now, like I really think about it like, man, if I really would applaud myself and like what would I like if I didn't play sports, what would I have really went to school for and really want to major in that I really wanted to do? Back then, I had no clue. And I think about that a lot, right? Because like now I'm just like, man, maybe I would have been that person to go into the military. Maybe not, right? But I tried it, you know what I'm saying? Because my sister was in the military and I tried to be like, you know, the whole buddy partner thing. But then that didn't go far for me. But then I was just like, man, everybody knows like I love Legos and I'm a Lego collector and I love building, freestyling, whatever. And I'm just like, damn, maybe that would have been my passion. But I didn't do Legos as a kid. I was a late bloomer with Legos. You know what I'm saying? But I was always like crafty with the arts and skills of it. You know what I'm saying? Building stuff. But I mean, like, I still like think to this day, what would I have been if you take away the sports? I probably wouldn't even went to college.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Like, if sports wasn't involved.
Right.
Because for us, I think sports was an outlet.
It was an outlet. That's what we grew up around, though. Because that was like, for us, everybody kind of did that. Because if you didn't do sports, you seen people not really doing anything.
Right. I'm trying to think. Yeah.
So what would you think you would have wanted to have done as a profession?
Engineer.
But you didn't like school.
I liked certain parts of school, like math, science. I didn't care for American history nor English. I did not like.
I don't think none of us.
I
think
English was like my weakest subject.
English was my hardest subject because I always would get, you know, talked to in the red ink, y'all, with all the extra paragraphs because I would always talk. I had run-on sentences.
Oh man,
I would write a whole paragraph before I put a period. Because I would write how I talk.
But I think that's a lot of us, you know, we write how we talk as far as minorities.
Right.
I don't think it always fare well for American schools like that.
Yeah. English was just hard.
It was.
Because, you know, you go to school and you sit in English class where you taught how to talk proper. But then when you get home, we talking ghetto. You know what I'm saying?
It's a different language.
It is. So it was kind of hard to adapt.
Latin. It can be all kinds of stuff. Yeah, that was different. Yeah, I want to be an engineer. Engineer would have probably been my go-to. Because I love like just buildings. I love like how an engineer can think of something in, I'm not talking about those ones that square boxes, but think outside the box. You know,
right.
You're thinking of Germany, some places, Mexico. How did they build this? So that was my brain. I will always role play as the engineer.
You is dumb. You dumb. Nah, but for real though, it's just kind of like, it's weird though, like how we at this moment in life and we think about like, man, what would we have really done? Because you know what? There's a point in time where we seen our grandparents talk about those moments too.
Yeah.
And I never thought that I would get to this point in my life thinking about like, damn, what would I really have been and done? Like what other route would I have taken?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it makes you wonder, like that's a huge regret.
I think we didn't see it because like our grandparents, they had time to sit. They like life wasn't as fast as it is now, right?
Right.
But now things are faster. And once we get older, all we want to do is fucking be still and sit.
Right.
And then when you be still and sit, all those things flutter back in and you think about your life at that moment because it flashed, like as soon as you sit, it flashes in your eyes. And you're like, damn, I could have been an engineer somewhere in Germany, somewhere, or, you know, build my own house, you know, from the ground up, like just like weird shit.
Yeah.
So then that's what, like you said, you know, regrets start to kick in. You get older and things look different. You move different. You see things different. You have a better understanding about things. When you're young, You don't give a shit about none of that shit. You really don't.
Yeah, for some people though.
Yeah, well, yeah, for some people, but I'm talking about high schoolers.
Yeah, nowadays they don't care.
We get out of high school, we went straight into college. We didn't get, the thing is, the regret that we have is we didn't do what we wanted to do, or as far as college goes, because we were too busy trying to impress everybody. Like I always wanted to be a film producer too.
Right.
But I always told they make no money.
Yeah, you know
They're
what?
starving. That's a starving business.
Let me ask you this though. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Because you said something that is the key to a lot of things that happen to us growing up, especially for us minorities. When you was a kid and when you was growing up and you had dreams and aspirations of what you wanted to be, majority of the time it did get knocked down to where family members would say, that ain't no money.
Mm-hmm. It ain't no money. They always want to say, oh, you need to be a doctor or
a lawyer.
It's a lawyer too, because, on TV, everybody shows lawyers make a lot of money. They don't really be showing doctors like that making a lot of money. Well, attorneys, they do.
But then at the same time, you couldn't even be like, oh, I want to be an actor, because if you live from a small town or whatever, or somewhere, and you don't live in the city, people be like, that ain't gonna ever happen. Look where you from. You know what I'm saying? So like, you have to learn, like when you get older, you have to watch the company that you keep. And I'm saying that even with family members. Yeah, because family is your biggest competitor out there. Because sometimes you get some family members don't want you to outdo their kids or their family or whatever. Right. But then once you make it to that high level, everybody want to call out your name. That's my cousin. That's my auntie, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. That's my uncle, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But you didn't get that acknowledgement and that attention when you was grinding. And sometimes you do, but sometimes you get that grinding from the wrong person.
Oh, man, absolutely.
And then the thing of it is about, with minorities too, is that that they don't understand that hurts the child, especially when they find a game that's fun or something that they like doing that maybe be a hobby that they see they can do later on in life because they're good at it. Sometimes that passion get knocked out because everybody else try to make it their job to live through your dream. Or they want to put the pressure on you because they want to be like, well, you know what? You doing it for the family. You forget that you forget in that moment, like, no, I need to be doing it for me.
Well, especially if you come from a large family. I come from a very large family on both sides, my mom and dad. And, when you have, and you see, like when you're a child and you, like I had some older cousins that went off to college, became attorneys. And when you see them, when they come back home and they're like, oh, what you been doing with your life? Oh, I graduated, from law school and got my own practice. And you see how the family respond to that person. They respond to that person like they're everything.
Yep.
Right. And, not even only that, it's like, going to school to become a doctor. Same thing. I got, cousins that are also doctors too. And, people like the family respond to them differently. It's like they're on a higher pedestal. And then, now you're thinking like, this is what I got to fall in line, because I see how excited and joyful my family is when my cousins come around and they talk about their accolades. I see how important that is. Right. But then as I got older, out of the teenage head and out of college, I started seeing the regrets and the unhappiness that, my cousins have,
Right.
I mean, they have money and, they've been in a job for a long time. They can, how the South families are.
Yep.
They want to flaunt you. The first thing they want to, it's like any Indian, Asian family. My son is an engineer. African family, my son is an engineer, or my daughter is a doctor. You know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that get looked at, and the ones that are not becoming doctors or that are looking to becoming teachers or, actors, producers, whatever the case may be, they don't get the same look. they get the look of disappointment. And so I think that's where regret starts to sit in, because you follow the route that you think you should follow because you only want approval from your family.
Yep.
But you don't do it. You like say, like for me, it's like, yeah, the engineering and the filmmaking, I love that shit. I end up doing computer science. I don't do anything with that shit. But because that's where the money was.
Right.
You're like, it's going to make so much money. For what?
Nah, you right though. You right.
Get out of school and, still, dealing with bullshit. I don't understand. Can't find a job at that time. No.
It's hard.
I end up doing other things.
It makes you regret even going to school. Like, yeah, we went for sports, but I mean, like you, I got 2 degrees. Mm-hmm. And when I tell people that, I'm like, I'm not using either one. And people think I'm like, well, that wasn't really my passion. But I mean, like, I accomplished what I went to school for.
Right.
That was to play professional basketball. And I did it overseas, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I actually accomplished the goal that I had set, because that was the goal all along. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, the paper that I have for these 2 degrees is kind of like,
it's just,
yeah.
It's just paper. You throw paper up in the air, what happens? It floats.
Right. I mean, I guess I can kind of somewhat say I used it because, you know what I'm saying? I coach with the Boys and Girl Club,
Yeah.
And, I did, do my intern as a park ranger. A camp counselor or whatever at a residential camp. But like, I did want to do the park ranger thing, but then like, it was to the point where it was kind of too late, because it was just like, being out here and then trying to get in and then being older. Cause like I was at the end of my late 20s going into my 30s or whatever. And it's just like, okay, do I really want to be a park ranger? Cause you know what I'm saying? Like out here in the state of Washington, it's kind of like different than being in South Carolina. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, South Carolina had like, different setups where it's like they would pay you to be out there, and stay like in the cabin remotely, and you had the whatever, you had the car and you had like management over counts, but it depends on what kind of state park you went to. So it's different like jurisdictions and stuff like that. But not having no experience, it's kind of like that paper didn't mean shit. Because now people want you to come with the experience. How are you supposed to get it? Mm. But I mean, yeah, it's a lot of regret. It's just kind of like, man, college was a waste of time.
Yeah, I feel like I used to always feel that way. But when you talk to your family or a family member on the phone,
they're so proud of you.
They're so proud of you. The family's looking, like, are you though?
Right.
And of course, you're like, damn, if they only knew what I wanted to do,
right?
Then, what would that look like? I've been told that, that my profession makes no money.
You know what I'm saying? But see, you know what? I think the thing of it is that what's like really hurtful the most is because like that was your passion, mm-hmm. and it kind of got knocked down. So what happens is it knocks down your self-esteem, your self-confidence and stuff like that. And then it's just like you try not to go against your family and stuff because you feel like you're being ganged up on. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, to where you get confused. You be like, fuck, I don't know what the hell I want to do then, because you're trying to please your family.
It creates worry and doubt. So every time you're trying to do something, you doubt. And it's like that one nagging egg. Okay, what is my family? I used to think that all the time. What is my family going to think?
Yep. I lived like that for so long. To where I had to finally tell myself, like, you know what? I value my family opinion, but at the same time, I had to learn how to do stuff for myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what? Still being an adult today, you know what I'm saying? Like, you still go through that. Like, mm-hmm. I still go through that and stuff like that because, like, I've been put in situations where it was like I was the limelight. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to be. It wasn't a choice. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, that never goes away. That feeling never goes away because you never, even like today, you never want to disappoint your family.
Oh, never.
You know what I'm saying? But when people think it's so easy when they turn around and say like, so what? Who cares? Why you care what everybody think? It's easy for that to come out your mouth, but we all go through that feeling.
We all, I can't stress it enough when, I don't care if you were a male that, you feel like you don't have to impress everybody. You're impressing somebody.
Yeah.
And it's a family member. You're doing things, especially for culturally families. We do things because we really do want our family's approval.
Yeah.
And we don't realize until we're older how detrimental that is to our psyche and our well-being.
It really messes up your psyche. Yeah. Trust me, I know. It makes you lose yourself so deep that you feel like you're drowning, and you ask yourself, do I want to put my hand up and grab the rope, or do I want to just sink? Because you feel like there's no return.
Yeah.
You know, and then like people don't understand that like regret, guilt is that pressure that you carry on your shoulders every single day. Because you know what I mean by pressure is you always waking up and telling yourself like, I got to make sure that I make the right choices today.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Not only for yourself, because you think about everybody else.
Mm-hmm. I think I have thought about that so many times. Like even in, my relationship, thought about what can I do better? And I was constantly thinking about that and not realizing that I was losing my soul in myself.
Right.
Because I was trying to please people and make them happy and not make them, because like I said, when you're dealing with, family members, like culturally family members, that is a issue. It's a major
issue.
You think, well, I don't want to disappoint them. I want them to look at me how they look at my cousin.
Right. And then like, it's even harder when people who are not a part of your family don't understand your family dynamic. Because they may they may try to give you advice about how to handle that situation because they family dynamic may be dysfunctional or they don't operate like that. But nobody's listening to what you're having to go through in that family dynamic, because it's really strong.
It's absolutely.
People don't understand the pressures of that,
because you never want to be a disappointment in your family members' eyes. And, when we say family members, mother, father, cousins, grandma, aunts, uncles, kids,
it's a whole variety.
Yeah, it's a whole variety of it.
But the thing of it is that like, it all comes with regret at the end of the day, because, it starts with the parents. Your parents have a lot of regret. They wish there was things in their life that they would have done different. They think about it, and what to do, they put the pressure on the kids to not make the same mistakes, right? Because they living with regret. And then the kids may end up being rebellious or do some stuff or whatever that they wish that they could have got it from regret. So regret is always going to be a pattern for everybody.
Right.
But it's up to you on when you learn your regrets. You know what I'm saying? When you really sat with it and be like, you know what? I do regret this. You know what I'm saying? And some people don't deal with regret. They the type of person that will just put blame on somebody else and say, well, it's you because I'm this way and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But like regret is something that's very powerful that most people won't sit with.
No, it's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable, because when you actually sit down, you actually taking an inventory of you, no one else. I mean, you have all these people in your life, new family or whatever the case may be, new job that you had for, who knows, 5 years. You still look back and you thinking about the regret and how things could have played out differently for you. And so the thing is, I try not to do is sit there in that regret too long and just like, fuck, I got to do something about it. And let me tell you, Christian.
Right.
He's a prime example and a prime reminder. He lets me know, he said, hey, Poppy, you messed around and lost a lot of money and a lot of clients. But he said, you're here now, so you can do better.
Wow. At least he being honest with you, though.
He being honest, but I can't get mad because, I got to think like, damn, this is how I raised them. I raised them to, transparency. And I try to be, as close and as much honest with my kids as possible. Because at the end of the day, kids are not stupid.
Right.
They look at you, they know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And, and that was I think the reason why he asked me that too, a regret question that he had for school that he's working on. And we talked about it. But man, brother cold. He cold. But yeah, regret can do a lot of things. That being said, let me show you a quote. Let me share a quote. Regret. It takes you to a situation in places that you never wanted to be. It bends you backwards like a rubber band. It takes you down your pride. It takes down your pride. It turns you into someone else. It embarrasing to you, to your self-esteem. It's immature and childish, but mostly it takes years of your life and ruins your spirit. That being said, that is so true.
That is so true. And the thing of it is that I always had my own like acronym, like synonym, how you would call that?
Yeah.
Where for regret. Mm-hmm. And so like the thing of it is that like for me, regret is like remembering every grieving reminder exactly teaching something.
You want to say that again?
Remembering every grieving reminder exactly teaching something. Because Every regret actually teach us something.
You are so right. So anyone out there, don't try to steal this shit.
Right. Because the reason why you not always put grieving in there, because you actually grieve your regret.
You do. You grieve your loss.
Yeah, because it makes you sad. Like, fuck, I could have done better.
Oh, man.
Or I could have done something, or I could have done it differently. You know what I'm saying? Just like it's like this when you in a relationship with somebody and then like you and that person break up, you grieve that person. Like, yeah, the relationship might not have been great, but you still grieve that person because you be like, man, I could have done better. But that person ain't willing to give you another chance because they may give you 2 or 3 chances, but you took it for granted. You know what? You regret that.
Yeah.
So we're just like, you think about it. Regret have a lot of grief to it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ponder about it, but I mean, it do teach us something.
Absolutely. So that being said, we're going to end this podcast today. I want you to think about your regret and what you're grateful for. That being said, thank you guys for listening. Please come out and come onto our page. Let's have conversations. If you want us to talk about something or a situation or issue, please hit us up. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We do not shy away from conversation, no matter how uncomfortable it gets. That's our motto. So anything?
Nothing really. Everybody have a good day.
Bye.
Peace.